So here we have it, game number 1 of a best of 3. A nice little bit of Zerg versus Terran starting off on merry-go-round. So we got a lot to look forward to here. Spawning down in the lower left hand position, representing max flow, we have souL. And his opponent to the top right, the blue Zerg player, representing Vega Squadron, it is DaNa. So, a nice little bit of Zerg versus Terran, and for anyone wondering why we got into this game so late, I do apologize for that. I had a little bit of tech issues on the stream software, which I am just busy trying to make sure it is all going good, so apologies for that. Anyway, what's going on in this game? We've got a hatch first coming down from DaNa, and that's perfectly normal up against the Terran. Meanwhile, souL looks like he's going to be going CC first. A lot more bold there. What's it going to be able to do though? Got to be keeping a lot of wariness in terms of going CC first, because there is always the potential a Zerg player will get out a good number of lings early on, may try and do a little bit of damage to you. But if they don't, then actually you're going to be sitting pretty happy. You've got a great economy, earlier second mule, and actually better split between mining of your main and natural, so you don't get your main mined out too quickly, which can be a problem Terran players encounter, especially if they mule their main base heavily because they've gone for a very long time until they get a natural CC out. So for the moment, just a nice little check here from DaNa, and I really like using just one drone on patrol at the front to make sure that there's no bunker or anything being built. It's just a minor kind of blip in the most economic way of going, but it is a massive safety net in case you are getting some of that aggression, because if the bunker finishes up at the front and there's Reapers on the way across and you don't know about them, hey, once that bunker's finished, you have a bit of a headache. A couple of lings bounding across the map, they encounter the scouting SCV. Once it gets on creep, it will unfortunately die thanks to the speed boost. Poor SCV. It's never good being a scouting worker, definitely the worst job in StarCraft. That or an Overlord spreading creep. Overlord grouping up a map with creep may be a worse job, because I don't know how they produce that much creep that quickly, but it can't be a pleasant experience for them. Now, over on souL's side, he's obviously got the bunker up the front, he's adding in a couple of marines to it. Doesn't really have much to defend, but nor is there much attacking him. Just these 4 Zerglings, even if they decide to go, which frankly they may not. Double extractors coming down now from DaNa. This is his first, or these are his first 2 extractors so far of this game. So up until this point, not really pumping much gas. He got them around kind of the 40 supply mark. Just for anyone wondering, it's kind of about 29 drones-ish. 4 queens also coming down. This is pretty much standard in Zerg versus Terran as well. It just means you've got some good creep spread. But you also have 3 queens down the front in order to fend off any Hellion or kind of any Hellion hellback kind of pressure that you do so often see. Anyway, we've also got souL adding in the double Hellions. He's going for a starport, and with the tech lab here, we should be seeing Banshee. This is a very harassment focused build off the back of the CC first. And the reason that this is quite a smart way to play is if you've gone for a command center first opening, you focused a lot of your resources into your economy, and you're quite vulnerable, you don't have much of a standing army. Getting out some harassment based units like Hellions, like Banshee, you're able to force your opponent to sit back and defend. And sitting back and defending is a great thing to do, or it's a great thing for you, because it means that, hey, they're not trying to kill me, and therefore this greedy start I had to the map can't really be punished. DaNa takes a 3rd base now. This isn't overtly early or anything like that, it's just quite a normal time for it. Not late, not early, just bang on the money. Got a few roaches just to deal with the Hellions that DaNa does nose here. DaNa also now getting a really important scout off. Sees 2 critical pieces to the puzzle in terms of his opponent's playstyle. Firstly, sees the starport with the tech lab that is researching. You can see the tech lab glowing. Secondly, sees the 3rd CC. And this is just a massive tell. Firstly, it screams, right, my opponent is going harassment heavy. They are going to try and get me to defend and lose a couple of my workers. But secondly, they're also chucking a huge amount down in terms of their overall economy. They're going for that third CC pretty damn early, and therefore their standing army's lacking. DaNa can respond to this in one of two ways. Try to out-expand, take a quick fourth, or can defend off the early aggression and then go full in-your-face mode. I'm talking like kicking down the front door and kind of running around in a hockey mask and chainsaw up against all those SCVs. And both are viable, both have their place and their time, and a lot of it's coming down to playstyle. Now, so he's utilizing the very recent buff to those Hellions and Hellbats, needing only the armory. And this is a fair few Hellbats. Even with roaches on the field, they take a good bit of a beating. Nice quick transform back into Hellions, they'll be able to sneak on away. Wasted a bit of mining time, but overall, very little achieved with that play. Otherwise, still just trying to keep a good little eye on everything else that we could be getting, but this is all fairly standard for the moment. Ooh, this is really nice here for DaNa, able to pick off a couple of those Hellions nice and early on. That is some sweet stuff there. Over on souL's side, he's still just chilling, still just adding in a couple of, ooh, this is quite good, adding in a couple of additional bunkers, and you may be thinking, why the missile turret? Well, if you see a lot of roaches, burrow is always something you're going to be concerned about, so just making sure that that's prepared. This is exactly what I was saying about what DaNa could do. 4 bases is a possibility, or just go and kill your opponent. Because with this super fast third CC, there's not really anything that you are able to do to prevent this, other than chuck down a whole ton of bunkers, which can't really get filled with anything because there's only 7 Marines and 2 Marauders. Or you've just got to kind of hold on. DaNa not going for this yet. Didn't actually come and check over it. Did he check over at this base and just didn't see? That'd be a bit of a problem, but actually, more so, a nice little move out here from souL, but DaNa can move in. He's got so many units. This is going to be quite problematic. The Marauders are quite a big threat. The Hellbats getting pinned in the corner, not even picked up by those medevacs. They didn't want to save him. But now the bunkers getting breached. There's not that much in the way of infantry, but a lot of roaches. They've cleaned out that third, all the SCVs there. Some good damage being done here now by DaNa, continuing on with more aggression. 2 Marauders sitting in that bunker. Gonna get out some good damage, but even with the repair, just too much burst damage coming down from these roaches. Pushing in, trying to get a bit more damage, still through. 2 mules gonna die. A couple of additional SCVs take it out, and this is a very problematic situation for souL. While there is the Banshee slowly working through these roaches, there are so many roaches coming through that is just going to take so long to kill all of this off. The worker damage has already been done, but the roaches slowly clearing through, but yeah, this is a lot of problems. Still waiting to see exactly what's coming, but these roaches, they've done so much for DaNa. 25 SCVs have died, and that's always a big problem. The Mule Hammer, it's going to help. They will bring back some of it, but even with the 3 CCs being at 37 or 38 SCVs up against 70 with a 4th hatch on the way down for DaNa, it's going to be problematic. The continuation of this aggression now coming through. A tank is on the high ground. That's actually a really important piece of the puzzle, because it means that even if this low ground tank gets taken out, the roaches are still going to be shelled. There's nothing to plant high ground vision here. They're actually sacrificing a good few roaches, so we're going to have to back away, just looking for a bit more in the way of safety. But overall, this is still going very nice for our Zerg player. Double drop is coming through into the main base, picking off quite a few of the Hydralisks, and medevac very well microed there by souL. Backs away, going to be trying to retreat out after one had died. But still, this is all sitting as a very interesting game now. The Banshee trying to work through this 4th hatch, but not getting that much damage down as of yet. Only one Banshee will take a long time to kill that off, so this medevac drop coming through could be very helpful in order just to finish it all down. Elsewhere on the map, this 3rd base is actually doing a great job of pumping out a lot of additional SCVs to replace the 25 that died. souL already back up to 51 SCVs at this stage. The Mules have really been helping him stay in this game for the moment. But be under no illusion, DaNa is still in a good spot. He hadn't thwarted this drop, attempting to take out the 4th base. just really stays there. If the 4th had died, it would have been bad for DaNa, but DaNa is still up by a huge amount of supply, adding in just more roaches and more hydras, which, while long term isn't necessarily the best composition up against an infantry based army, when you're ahead, it's a great way to punish quickly, end the game in the mid game, and that's what DaNa's going to be looking to do now. Maxed out, sitting at 2-2, up against 1-1, or sorry, 2-1 of souL. This is all looking fairly fun. Big pullback of units actually, just for 1 drop. DaNa is now just splitting a few units off, and that's the right thing to do. DaNa ideally needs to try and end this game before it goes on too long. Pretty much essential in order to prevent souL having a chance to get back through. Few roaches engaging prematurely there. They don't want to be going in before their friends are all ready as well. Just allows the tanks to tear them apart a bit too quick. Nice use here of keeping a few of the roaches about, making sure the drops can't do much else. The 2 overseers also very important, gives high ground vision, but in we go now. DaNa crashing through this army, the tanks dishing out a fair bit of damage, they're getting focused out quickly. One on the high ground, prioritised in case these overseers die, but with very few tanks now remaining, GG is called and DaNa is gonna take game number 1 of this best of 3.